I've seen them actually step into that PO role.
Good. I mean, I'll go back to this issue of architects and engineering managers. Sounds like we're not saying that may not be the best pool to draw from. Maybe I'm paraphrasing incorrectly, but I would say that that's maybe what I'm hearing. But as a
Be
person who was a
thoughtful if you're going that way.
right,
Recognize why
but
you're doing it. Recognize what your history is.
right, as a person who went from engineering into a business role, it was a deliberate decision I made to some people would say go to the dark side, but I went to the business side, right? And so that was an interest I had. And so, I would say in counter argument that there may be an engineering manager or an architect who says, I'm tired of wearing this hat and I want to be more interactive with customers, more interactive with the outside world, more active with how the business is successful. I think I can add some value because I have that technical expertise that I can use in the decision making process. So might not that be a cleaner way to say if this person has voiced their opinion to do that, they actually really want as a career change or as a career enhancement or something like that? Is that a role because they're energetic about wanting to do it? Is that a role that sounds like it'd be a green flag to go do that?
That sounds great. And I'm assuming that the people on that Scrum team will no longer report to you.
Right,
Right.
right,
Right. You're
And
doing a
if
career
you're,
change, not just add on.
yeah. And if you're willing to make a transition, and if there's, I mean, the big issue a lot of times with the engineering manager as product owner is the reporting structure. I'm now your product owner, and I also have hire, fire, salary, and career implications that can set up a really complicated dynamic, right? Um,
if you
I
want that,
had a group.
put the money in the jar, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you're like, hey, I want to make a career transition, I want to move into this product owner role, I want to get closer to the business side. Mark, you, me, and the manager sitting in a room together talking about how are we going to staff all these product owners because you've got to do it, right? You're putting the work of your 5 to 7 people on every single team. Basically, you're making them incredibly unproductive because you as an organization haven't staffed the role. And Mark's saying, I want to make this transition. I'd be saying, this sounds great.
Right, right. Okay.
Another transition we sometimes see is for project managers. It's not so much anymore because most organizations have gone agile. I don't run into we've never tried agile before, uh, frankly, all that often anymore. But they still have project managers. And it's like, we've talked about this. What is project manager's role in agile? And one of the transitions was a project manager usually had a choice. If they were more project management, I want to work the process. I love understanding process, how things flow. Maybe you want to become a scrum master. If I love working with the customers and interacting with the clients and consumers, maybe you want to become a product owner. But it's also still a career switch. It's not just I'm still a project manager and I'm happy to be a product owner. It's like, no, you're really thinking about doing a different role or responsibility in the organization as opposed to still doing what you used to do and you just got added some responsibilities. And I think that's Jenny's concern as well, is that doing what you always did, plus now you're doing some more stuff, doesn't tend to work out nearly as well as saying, I want to transition and do something different.
Yeah. And I also do think there is something important about understanding the organization, the org structure, and the Scrum team structures don't need to look the same. And in fact, often if they do look the same, there's something problematic happening because now you have this authority in the hands of like a product owner over all of these people. And heaven forbid that, your scrum master report into your engineering manager, who's also your product owner, who can fire them if they stand up to them, right? So one of the
Gaming
things
the
to be
system.
talking
Yeah.
yeah, one of the things to be talking about when you're talking about how do we staff this is to be thinking a little bit about how do we make sure that there's some balance here, right? I want a product owner who can really integrate and talk about the business side of the world. I need a scrum master who has some level of autonomy so that they can be neutral and facilitative. Is the way I'm staffing this now and the people I'm staffing it with and their personality is going to make a healthy team that can work together really well? Or am I setting this team up for some really weird power dynamics that are probably going to be an issue? And right? You know your people. You know when you're setting a team up and you're like, oh, this is probably going to be a problem.
Another thing to be thinking about as you're staffing this role is that bandwidth of communication. I have seen, unfortunately, too frequently, particularly here in the West Coast US, that we have a